Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody here in the chat. It is spooky season. I've got my Halloween themed lighting going. A little bit of orange background, a little pumpkin on the shelf, another pumpkin on the shelf, and spooky mood lighting. But yeah, welcome, welcome. This we're back for another week of talking about streaming, ATEMs, YoloBoxes, whatever you want to talk about. If you do have a question for me, please start your message with the letter Q, and that filters it on my screen here so I can see a little better. Speaking of which, I need to get my little screen up so I can actually see the chats. Now I can see the chats. Excellent. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Appropriately lit background, definitely. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, we took a little bike ride yesterday up to the pumpkin patch and went to go get pumpkins. So I carried that pumpkin back and that one and two little baby ones, which are up there. Carried those all back on a bicycle on my bike yesterday. It was like an 11-mile ride out to the pumpkin patch, half of which was along the highway, which is not the best place to ride, but did not get a flat tire this time, which is always nice. I just remembered that I have a little clip that I wanted to share of the ride. Let's see if I can do this. I didn't actually plan this very well, so I just have it on my phone. But hey, we can do that. We have the technology. Let's where is my button for that? There we go. Yeah, this was riding along this was going across the bridge there. So this is from my 360 camera. I think this is an auto edit of it. This was like their AI editing of it. Anyway, had my little trailer and zooming across the bridge. We had about, I think, 12 people or so on the ride. And there's Lily out in front. Nice ride across the St. John's Bridge. That rightmost lane is actually officially a bike lane on the bridge. So it's just a little bit awkward getting off here at the end of it because there's not like a good spot to stop, and we had to stop and wait for everybody. So we kind of went a little bit farther than that, pull off to the side, wait for everybody else to catch up on the bridge. And anyway, it was fun. It was a good ride. And went and picked pumpkins, went on a little corn maze adventure. The pumpkin patch is full of pumpkins. So it was a lot of fun. Just wander around and find one that looked good. So now we're here. Now it's pumpkin season. And back to business. So let's see what we got in the chat. MT says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for the early reminder. The Logician says, do you have a tutorial on how to do the map automation for the intro roll? I don't, because it is extremely custom code that I wrote, all using the JavaScript API for Google Maps. It's not really something that's easy to pick up and use because you have to deal with API keys and nonsense. But John has added a map view to H2R graphics, and the H2R graphics has a bunch of features, but one of the features it does also have, which I think there's a screenshot in here somewhere. No, I'm not sure where it went. I think there is in the docs page. There is a map feature in here. It works a little bit different. It's not automatic. You do have to click the messages to show them, but that also means it'll work a little bit better because mine is pretty messy and it'll try to place the pin somewhere, even if it's not necessarily a city name. So it's not perfect, but with John's, you can click the message. It'll put it in the right spot most of the time. So you do have to go through and get the API key, which is why it's complicated. Anyway, his is good. I would recommend this because this is a lot easier to use than my giant pile of JavaScript. Which 360 camera did I use? I used the Insta360 One X2, which is, I just haven't bought the X3 because the X2 is fine. This is the Insta360 Camera, and it's been, oops, that's the selfie stick. There's the camera. There we go. I dropped that link in the chat. This little one, I like it a lot. It's fun. It's a lot of fun for that kind of stuff. And their little that was like a 4-minute video riding across the bridge, and then I just said like edit, and it just did all the cutting up for me. So I didn't even have to like think about that edit, which is also why the edit wasn't great, but it's fine. Halloween colors today, yes. This is an excellent question. Anybody else know about using a capture card with an iPad Pro and the streaming capabilities? I haven't tested that yet. I need to figure out if I can do it with my iPad Mini, because I haven't actually bought a Pro yet. Actually, I think that means it doesn't work because my Mini's not an M1. So I think it only works with the M1s. Anyway, I haven't done this research yet. I am so curious though if it works with like any app, or if the apps have to have special support for it. So we will have to dig into that later. Have I tried the screen mirroring with iPhone to iMac as a replacement for mirroring to Apple TV, and is it better? I have, Jonathan. Yes, actually, I did this in the previous version of the OS too. It's not new in Sonoma. In Ventura, I think it was Ventura, or it may have even been the one before that. Anyway, you can mirror an iPhone to a Mac instead of like it's an Apple TV. And I don't think it's better, but I think it is a good option to have available. So what I normally do with like showing that video, what I just did was I AirPlayed my iPhone to the Apple TV in my studio. And I like that option a lot because I just have the Apple TV stashed in that rack, plugged in over Ethernet, which is on my network, and I can just send stuff to it, and it shows up in the ATEM here. It is, yeah, you can see it in my little multi-view here. So I think I like that option a lot. Now, the cool thing is that I can actually show this to you. So here's my computer screen, right? And let me unmirror from, so you can see it stop there. Now, if I mirror to the Mac Mini, it should just take over my entire screen. Yeah. So this is useful in that, like, now I have a giant version of my phone that I'm staring at, but it works exactly the same as if it were an Apple TV. So, except now I have to get my computer back. Let's stop mirroring. It works exactly the same. It's great. I wouldn't recommend doing that for like this kind of thing because obviously it takes over the computer. But if you are one way you can use it, if you want to do this like in a more portable setting or on the fly, have a laptop there, plug in a laptop into an ATEM, and now you've got a built-in screen mirroring thing or wireless phone sharing into your ATEM without having to have extra stuff. And if you're traveling, it's really handy to be able to use a laptop for that. So I recommend it for that. But I would, oh, Jonathan says, good for streaming, but if you want to go from a phone to a room with speakers, it'd be trickier with an Apple TV. It depends on how your room is set up, because like the audio goes over the AirPlay connection too, and then it's just HDMI out of the Apple TV or optical if you have that. But yeah, if you are, if your room setup requires the like 1/8 inch headphone jack out from that laptop or whatever, then yeah, you'll need that. Bicky says, I bought a Netgear 4250 switch for AV. Have you had any experience with those? No, I haven't. What is the special about that? Netgear 4250. That is a 24-port gigabit PoE managed switch with SFP. That's a monster. It seems expensive. I feel like I got a Unify one like this that's cheaper. I have all Unify gear here though, so I'm not buying other brands of stuff, which is their entire goal of like, once you're in the Unify ecosystem, you're just stuck there. But I've been pretty happy with it. I mean, this looks like a solid option though. The 300 watts is a lot. I think my Unify doesn't do 300 watts, so maybe that's the difference. You have 24 PoE ports. That's great. Looks like a solid switch. And SFP for uplink. Only gigabit though, not 10 gig SFP. No, it's good though. Hello, Cameron. Hello to Canada. Eric says the AI edit on Insta360 was pretty good and trippy. Oh, Nathan says apps need to support it. That makes sense. That's the USB webcam feature in the iPad. The Netgear is specifically designed for AV applications. Optimized for NDI. Okay, so it probably has a lot of switching bandwidth, internal switching bandwidth. Because I know one thing that some of these switches do is they cheap out and they, oh yeah, that's why it's listed here. Some of them, they'll have like gigabit ports, but it can't actually send gigabit everywhere. So like some of the cheaper ones will say, yeah, all the ports support gigabit, but it only actually has a gigabit of switching capacity internally. So if you had gigabit in, gigabit out, and then you wanted to do another gigabit in, out somewhere, they would all drop to half the bandwidth. So this thing says 60 gigabit switching, so it can send video all over the place. So that makes sense. I don't know what ABB is. I don't know what that is. But yeah, it looks like a great device. Oh, I also know that there's been some problems with Unify gear with Dante audio. So I haven't gone anywhere near Dante audio. So if I ever do, I would plan on buying totally separate gear that's for Dante. You're not really supposed to mix your Dante audio with your rest of your network stuff anyway. Probably also true with NDI. I think it's a little bit less critical, but it's a good practice to separate those things out on the networks anyway. Schnittfeld, would you still buy an ATEM Extreme ISO for multicam ISO recording? Yes, I would. The reason is because you can't get 8 recorders for anywhere near the cost of the ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. So the only downside is it's 1080 only, no 4K, and you are recording at H.264, not ProRes. So H.264 at the highest quality, 70 megabit per second is honestly good enough for most things, but it is not 10-bit ProRes. So you can get better quality recordings with a Hyperdeck recorder or a Atomos or whatever, but you're going to be spending X dollars for each channel. And with the Extreme, you get 8 channels of high quality H.264 recording. Good enough for most things, in my opinion. So that is, yeah, I would still recommend it. I think it's still a great option. One thing I'm actually trying to do here, which I've got half wired up, is, so I have a Hyperdeck Plus in there, which is it's the model that has, where is it? Hyperdeck HD Plus, that's the one. Just grab that for the timestamps. This one. So this is the, oh, I need to remove the DVE store link. That's sad. The HD Plus. So this is the one that has the nice buttons on the front. On the back, the main reason I got this is because this is the one that has 2 SDI outs, which gives you the fill channel and the key channel for doing really nice graphics with transparency, like animations, video playback with transparency. This is, I have the SDI in and out wired up into the Constellation switcher, so I can either use it as a recorder by sending stuff into the SDI, or I have the 2 channels going into Constellation so I can play back graphics. But this device is also 4K. So it does support, 4K 30 frames per second, not 60, but does do 30 frames per second. However, what my thought was, what I would like to be able to do is run when my cameras, like when I'm doing multi-cam recording, I usually don't need all of them to be 4K, because my end videos are going to be 1080, and that's fine. But if I am doing a recording of like my talking head, I like to be able to, crop in a little bit for being able to hide edits. And the obviously, if I'm cropping in on 1080 recording, it's going to be a little bit blurry. I would like to be able to record my main camera in 4K. And if I am doing recordings of the other cameras, those are fine in 1080. So I'll record everything on the extreme, or actually probably I've just been using the 4-channel lately, which is up there. So I do 4-channel recording, but I do my main camera in 4K. And that's what I would like to be able to do. So my plan is I would send one camera, my main camera, into this in 4K, and then I want to send and record that in the Hyperdeck, but then use the ATEM Mini Extreme or the ISO for the other cameras. And that way I can crop in on my 4K and get the high quality recording there. So that's my plan for how I'm going to switch things up in here when I'm doing recordings. Because I do have all my cameras are 4K cameras. I just have them wired for 1080 right now because they only do 1080 at the SDI port. 4K is only over HDMI. So I have an HDMI cable that goes into the Hyperdeck now. The downside is that it doesn't look like the Hyperdeck does any downscaling. So I do have to have the two cables. I have the SDI to get the camera into my switcher for live stuff, but I can also record the 4K. So yeah. If you are, I think that's a pretty good combo of Hyperdeck for 4K, ATEM for the 1080 other angles. The other way you can use this, of course, is that you could just record a backup of your program feed out of the ATEM into the Hyperdeck, and then you get your ProRes recording if you want, or just for redundancy. So either way. Cool. Hopefully that helps. Thanks. Let me see. Okay, now I'm scrolling. Now I'm lost in the chat. Please do send your chats in with the letter Q in front so I don't miss any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to scroll through the chat and I will skip stuff. The AVB means audio video bridging. I've never done that. A network protocol for AV can use with regular traffic if the switch is AVB compliant. No need for a separate audio Ethernet network. Cool. And this one is good for Dante. I don't really want to switch my studio over to Dante, so I'm probably not going to go do that. Can the normal ATEM have web overlay using Mix Effect or Live App Pro? Normal ATEM Mini, not Pro or ISO. All of the ATEMs will handle this the same way, so there's no difference in the model as far as this goes. So if you're using Mix Effect doesn't do web overlay, but Live App Pro does. And this is do I have it on this iPad that's in front of me? Let's see. No, it's on my other iPad. Live App Pro. Let me just grab that iPad because I can show you. Ow. This one. So let's see. Let me drop the link in for the timestamps. Live App Pro. This app, where is it? I don't know why it's not in my little folder. Here it is. So this app, don't need that one, does a bunch of things. It does video playback, but it does have this overlay feature. And the overlay feature will output a web page over HDMI or AirPlay. So if I connect this to my switcher, let's see, why is that? I don't want to output that. Okay, so this should be outputting the the web page now, which means if I show a chat message, we should see it pop up in the iPad, because this is rendering the same web page that I'm using to show chats on the screen. So you can see the little thumbnail of it there. And if I grab the output of this, HDMI, which is where? It is it's called Desk iPad. There it is. Yeah. So if you look at my multi-view, if you look at my multi-view, he says, looking for the multi-view button on his Stream Deck. Why do I always lose where this button is? Oh, it's because it's on the first page. If you look at the multi-view, you can see that my 19 desk iPad over there is showing the output of Live App. So this is showing the video from the iPad. Notice that it has a black background. Now, this is why I said it doesn't matter what ATEM you're using, because you have one channel, you have a color video, and you need to now do a Luma key to get this overlay. So let me turn off the one that I've got routed through OBS, and I can actually do a Luma key on my ATEM now, the way that you would have to do it for this. So let's see, let's grab downstream key 4, because I think it's not doing anything. Oh, it's already set up for it. Look at that. So desk iPad. Oh, it was for the little sidebar credits. So if I grab the mask and crop it like that, and then show the full width, right? So this is like covering everything up. We need to do a Luma key. So if I grab, oh, the gain is probably too high. So what you can't see is I'm adjusting the key settings for this key to try to make this get rid of the black background but keep the text. Normally I have better luck with this. Why am I having so much trouble today? Anyway, point is, what is going on? Why can't I get this key to work? Oh, because I'm keying black. I need to key on the iPad also. There we go. Okay. So this is what you would get in an ATEM Mini, is you can use the Luma key channel. You can use the Luma key to get rid of the black background, putting it over top. Now, the edges of it are not perfect. So you'll either have some extra little black fuzzies, or it will look a little jagged or whatever, but it's close enough usually. So this is what you get. And this is the same in every ATEM. I'm doing it on the Constellation right now, but it's the same thing whether it's an ATEM Mini or a Pro or Extreme. The only way to get around this is to have the 2 channels, which is what I have on my main feed coming out of OBS, where OBS can send the 2 channels. And then I don't know if you can even tell in here, but let's go. This is the one from OBS, and this is the Luma key. It looks almost identical. This is OBS rendering it, and then this is Live App rendering it. It looks pretty darn close. Anyway, that's the yeah. So works the same on every ATEM. That was a good little demo. Can you change the background color to something other than black? Oh, now I lost my key. Luma key only works with black. The Luma key is it's using the brightness channel to do the key. So if I go over to this and show you this is a Luma key channel. So if I go too much, it's going to remove, more of the darker colors. So I need to adjust it to be able to remove just enough black without removing too much. The downstream keys only work with Luma keys. Like they are only a Luma key. So if you wanted to do a different color, like remove a green background, you can, but you have to do it in an upstream key. And the upstream keys have a chroma key. And that'll work as well. I think that I get better results with a Luma key. I feel like there's just less glitches around the edge, because like when it's a little bit of an extra, like you can actually tell the ring around the photo. This is the Luma key, and this is the one from OBS. God, they're almost identical. But there's just like, I think there's just like an extra tiny bit of black ring around this, and it doesn't look as wrong as when there's extra green around it. If there's extra green around it, it looks worse. So I think it's better to do Luma key, because I don't even know how I would show that. I have to change my web thing to output green, which I don't want to do because it'll mess everything up. I meant from Live App, can you use chroma and get cleaner lines? It's not a setting in Live App. So with Live App, this is just outputting the web page. So like the web page has a black background, and the web page could have a green background. If it has a green background, then the output of it will be green. So, but it's not like a Live App setting. It's just whatever is the web page. It's just that the thing I made for this has a green background. If I turn that off, let's see. I don't really have a fast way to grab one with a green background, but you get the idea. So whatever the web page is outputting will be sent there. It doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, I know the Luma key does a surprisingly good job. Philip says, note that if you're keying a graphic from the built-in media player, you can key using downstream key if the media player graphic has a transparent background. Oh yeah, that's a good point. So if you do have a graphic in your downstream key, let's see, what do I have in here I could demo this with? Oh, I actually have a demo with it with the iPhone frame. So if this is a neat trick. If I've shared my phone screen, so I could just AirPlay to the Apple TV again. I actually have a button here which will show my iPhone in a little iPhone overlay. And this is so I can be like, oh, look at this app. The way this is working is there's a graphic in here which has this little border, iPhone border around it, and this graphic is transparent. So this part of the graphic is actually transparent, not black. And then when I have this in the downstream key, oops, nope, it's in an upstream key. It's an upstream key too. It would work the same in a downstream. So notice I'm doing a Luma key, right? So I've got a Luma key for the upstream key, which means it would also work in a downstream key just fine. And it is able to grab media player 2 key. Let me just, to prove the point. Let's see, key 2 is not doing anything. So let's grab one. I'm using upstream key 1 for the phone, upstream key 2 for the border. But let's change it to use downstream key 2 for the border. So I can grab media player 2, and then the key source it'll actually auto select media player 2 key. So for this, it is able to grab the alpha channel from the graphic. And then I do want to use pre-multiplied. So if I turn this on, we should see the border. Yeah, so there's the border in the downstream key, not scaled. And I don't think I scaled it anyway, right? Upstream key. Yeah, it's not. Oh, it is moved. It is moved over a little bit. So the other limit with the downstream key is downstream keys can't shift the image at all or scale, but upstream keys can. So with the downstream, I'm stuck in this position, whereas the upstream key, I can scoot it over a little bit. See how they don't line up when I turn them both on? So I guess I wanted the iPhone position to be a little bit farther over. Let me get the iPhone back on. So the iPhone is over there, and that way the border lines up. If I do it with the downstream, it won't line up. But I could fix that by moving the phone over a little bit. Anyway, too many keys. There we go. Was there anything else I wanted to add about that? No. The point was the downstream key can use a media player alpha channel as the key source, which is great. Thank you for the reminder. Nick says, I agree. Luma key is great for these and just avoid 100% black in the graphic overlay. That is the trick with the Luma key. If you're using a web page for graphics, you can't have any graphics that are actually black or close to black, because you need some amount of black that you're using as the transparent, which will get removed. So, okay. Are there questions are coming in? Don't forget to put a Q in front of your message so I don't lose it. Kevin, how do I use my ATEM Mini Pro ISO as a webcam and record to SSD? I have bad news. You can't really. You're going to need something else. So the ATEM Mini Pro has one USB port, and this is the problem, is they can only do one thing at a time. It can either be a webcam or you can plug in a hard drive. There's no real way around it. The only way to solve it is to get some other piece of hardware. So you could use an HDMI capture card out of the HDMI to go into your webcam and then record to an SSD, or you could use an HDMI recorder. The Blackmagic Video Assist is that monitor, touchscreen monitor that has SD card slots. That can also be a webcam, and it records to SD cards. So that's an option, but like ATEM Mini just doesn't have two USB ports, so you can't do it built in. This is one of the big reasons that you might be interested in the Extreme, the ATEM Mini Extreme, which does have two USB ports, and then you can use one as a webcam and one to record to a hard drive. The other huge feature that the Extreme has, which in my opinion is the best reason to get it, is it has the super source layout, which is what lets you do this kind of side-by-side view. So you can shrink one video for your face and then shrink your computer screen and put them both side by side and switch to it like a camera angle. You can't really do this in the ATEM Mini because there aren't enough upstream keys. So that's one of the other reasons that you might be interested in the Extreme. If you want that kind of side by side layout, it's a good reason to go with the Extreme. Good question. Sorry for the bad news. Okay, where was I? I'm looking through the chats. Fantastic says, something looks different and better about your wall. Well, it's orange today instead of teal. That's the big difference. I don't know if I would say it looks better, but it's Halloween season, so yeah. Jesse says, I tried setting up the companion YouTube module to directly control my live streams, but it seems to have changed the setup process in companion version 3, and I can't find an up-to-date walkthrough. Oh boy. Interesting question. So, speaking of which, I wanted to actually update companion to version 3 today because I haven't yet actually used it. The version 3, so what I did is I downloaded version 3 onto my Mac. Normally I run Companion on a Raspberry Pi, so it's at a different IP address. But I downloaded version 3 onto my Mac so I can do an import of everything here and see how it goes and then upgrade the Pi. So if I just import this, we can see what happens, and then we can try the YouTube module. Okay, I don't need your tutorial. So it imported all the connections. And let's see, I do have a YouTube connection, but I turned it off a while ago. Why did I turn it off? There was some login error. That's what it was. How do I log in? that's probably what you're talking about, is how do you actually get the connection going. Empty to re-authenticate. Let's do that. Really should not be showing these on the stream. Oh, that might work. So I had to go register an app to get this to work. I think that's the trick. Let's see, is this going to let me in? I'm stuck in some sort of OAuth loop. That's interesting. Yes, go. Okay. Oh, it may have actually worked. Let's see. YouTube says it is connected. Okay, so what I had to do was, this is the frustrating thing. You have to go through the OAuth setup process with Google. They, why is that not charging? Did I unplug the other end of that? No. Interesting. Solve that later. The trick is you have to create an OAuth client in Google, which is a real process. But you know who does have instructions for it is H2R Graphics. It's the... Where is the instructions for it? It's the map. It'll be slightly different from this because you don't need... Yeah, because you have to make an OAuth app, not a JavaScript app. So I should do a tutorial because you're right. There's no good instructions, and it's really complicated. I don't even remember the address to go to. I just Google Console, and then you have to go and like make a project and figure out which of your existing projects it uses, and then they keep redesigning this, and you have to go into here to the... Yeah, so you have to go make a new OAuth client ID. There's a bunch of settings you have to get exactly right. So anyway, it's complicated, but it looks like now that it's done, it actually will work, which is cool. So we'll come back to that because I don't have the steps in my head of what I use to get this set up. Raul says the Hyperdeck Studio HD Plus is 4K. Yeah. So if you look at the specs in the disc recorder, HD Plus supports... So it doesn't do H.264 in 4K, which is too bad. This one does H.265 in 4K, but this one does do ProRes up to 2160p 30. So not 2160 60. You have to go up to this to get the 60 frames per second at 4K. But this one does do 4K, which is nice at 695. Would you ever consider writing a technical book for ATEM or YoloBox that would help a lot of people? I don't know if that's a good plan because, especially with the YoloBox, it changes so much that any written text would be very out of date very quickly. But I will say the manual for the ATEM is actually surprisingly good. If you go to the support section and get the actual ATEM manual, it is very thorough. It has a lot of stuff in here, like including like what is a macro, and it'll just have this explanation of what it is. It's pretty good. There's some parts of this that I feel like skip over a little bit of the like, why do I do this? Why would I care? But honestly, there's a lot of background in here. There's a lot of info in here. Like let's say, yeah. So like it even explains cuts versus transitions, which gradually change one source to another. So it tells you like, yeah, give the manual a read. It's good. I don't know what else I would add in a book in a written form. I feel like videos are a better explanation, addition beyond what the manual has. Patrick says, what scenarios would you recommend that GoStream over an ATEM Mini Pro, assuming that OSEE will release a desktop software soon? Assuming that is true, and assuming that it also has network control, so I can add it to Companion, then I would have, then they would be closer matched. Speaking of which, I actually met with the CTO. He came to Portland to like stop by and visit. He was doing a trip around the US to visit a bunch of vendors and stuff, and stopped by Portland on the way. And we had a very nice conversation where I explained all of the reasons why I think it's very important they add some sort of network control for Companion, whether that's OSC or HTTP or their own thing with a Companion module, and had some other ideas for him for other product features. But if you let's assume that exists, I think that the GoStream then becomes a better option than the ATEM Mini Pro in almost all scenarios, because it has 2 USB ports, it has 2 HDMI ports, it can do almost everything the ATEM can do, and it has fixed those little problems of like, why can't I record to a USB drive and use it as a webcam at the same time? Well, with that one you can. Now that said, like the ATEM Mini Extreme, once you get up to 8 inputs and super source, that is a different thing, and that still has uses of things that the OSEE doesn't do. But honestly, like, it's a great price. It has most of the features, and if it has network control, then you can add it to whatever rig you're doing. So I think it's a great option, honestly. Christopher says, does YoloBox support USB audio class inputs? Specifically, could you connect a Dante AVIO USB adapter and get audio into your production from a Dante network? Ooh, I think it does. I can't remember because you can plug in. I think it does, but I will say the USB audio and the USB webcam inputs into the YoloBox are a little bit weird, and they don't necessarily play nice with the other parts of the YoloBox. So if you have the YoloBox Pro and you have like 3 HDMI cameras and a USB webcam plugged in, then you actually can't mix audio from the USB source and HDMI sources. You can only grab audio from USB. So, or if you're on HDMI, then you can't turn on USB audio. So it's kind of weird. If you only needed USB audio, I think that would be fine, but you just can't mix it with anything else. So I think that would work. Emerald Audiovisual says, supports a Rodecaster audio USB output, but then you lose all mixer control in the YoloBox. Yeah, exactly. Yes, there's so many reasons to go for the Extreme or Extreme ISO. I agree. About record and webcam, you can use OBS and virtual webcam output and record simultaneously. Yeah, but that's an example of just using something else. That's what I mean, is like the ATEM Mini by itself doesn't have any way to do both of those things. But yeah, if you went webcam into OBS over USB, you can have OBS record to disk and be a virtual webcam back into the computer at that point. So, but yeah. Art in the Game says, will I be able to edit the final program file in Adobe from the ATEM, or do I need to use DaVinci? You don't need to use DaVinci at all. In fact, I have not ever once actually used the DaVinci Resolve project file that the ATEM ISO creates. In my opinion, they did not do a very good job of it. It doesn't end up in the... it doesn't actually capture everything, first of all. Like the super source and upstream keys are like not really captured in that file. It's really only capturing camera cuts. So it is not as useful as I thought it was going to be. What I normally do is I just take either the program file from the ATEM or all 4 ISOs or 8 ISOs and just bring them into any video editor. I happen to use DaVinci Resolve for it, but it doesn't, there's no like special thing that the ATEM did that makes it work better in Resolve. So you could take those same 8 files and bring it into Premiere and it'll work just fine. Oh, and Emerald is clarifying, yes, the problem with the ISO version is you get the ISO recordings on the USB drive, and then you can't use it for a webcam. So if you want ISO recording, you have to use the USB drive for ISO recording. The ATEM doesn't output multiple video feeds over HDMI. The ultimate irony, Aaron is stuck in an OAuth loop. Yes. Yes. That is super ironic. We've got a lot of new people in the chat today. I'm so curious why so many new people today. This is great though. I have an Apple TV connected to the ATEM Extreme via binary HDMI over Cat6. I'm using Apple TV for AirPlay for picture-in-picture. The problem is I get random screen flickering. Ooh, screen flickering. Let me think. It's probably the extender. So the Apple TV to the ATEM Extreme, if you're going through an HDMI over Cat6 converter, that's probably the thing that causes flickering. I've definitely noticed that some of those are not great. One of the it totally depends on how they're built, and like if it's a super cheap one, I would not trust it as much. When I was using old ones that are like 6 years old now, but when I was using some of the older ones, I was having problems with longer runs of those, and I would get better results over SDI. So what I would troubleshoot in your situation is replace the HDMI Cat6 converters with a cable and see if this flickering stops, because if it does, then you know that's the problem. I doubt the flickering is because of the AirPlay. That, in my opinion, problems with that don't show up as flickering. They show up as like it just disconnects you. Randy Robinson Films says, would you recommend a Constellation HD 2ME over the ATEM Extreme SDI? I'm sure there are pros and cons for both. Who is each one for? That's a good question. Did I do a video about this? I feel like I did a video about this. Because this is I did a similar, not quite this exact comparison. I was talking about the TVS HD8 over the SDI Extreme ISO, rather than the Constellation compared to the Extreme ISO. That was an interesting comparison. I should do that video also. What would I say? Let me think. If you are considering the Constellation 2 over the Extreme SDI, they are close, but I mean, the biggest difference is the number of inputs, I guess. Because the Constellation 2 ME has 20 inputs instead of 8. And it gives you 12 aux outputs, which is also super useful instead of just 2. Other than that, they're actually very similar. So you have one super source, you have 2 DVEs. I think this has 4 upstream keys also. And so other than the number of inputs, I think they're very similar, which basically means what I would say then is the number of outputs is going to be super, super useful in situations where you want to like drive screens around a room. So if you just picture you have 12 outputs that can do whatever you want, except being multi-view, which is a little bit weird. Your multi-views are locked to those ports. But you do get 12 outputs, which means you can do things like output to dedicated recorders. You can output to a projector in the room. You could do, because you have two MEs, that's the other, I guess, other big difference. You have two MEs, which means you have two different switching buses. So like, it looks like this, where you have your ME2 up here, ME1 down here, and you can actually send one out each SDI port. And that way you could use one ME to switch a projector and one ME to do your program recording, which is how we did it at ResolveCon, which worked out great. So I can choose what goes on the projector in the room up here. I can choose what to record down here. So that's going to be the workflows that you get to do in the Constellation that you can't really do in the Extreme. So I think that is, I guess it's like anything beyond simple recording and switching, you're going to have a lot more flexibility with a Constellation. Isn't the other difference the lack of audio routing in the 2ME? There isn't good routing in either, if I remember correctly. I haven't actually used the 2ME, but the 4ME doesn't have. It's the same problem is that like all the audio sources are you only get one audio bus, so I can turn on and off audio sources the same way on the Extreme and the Constellation. There is something different about the mix minus here, but it doesn't work like I want it to, so I haven't used it, and I don't remember the details because I haven't used it because it doesn't do what I want. ME2 has an additional super source. Oh, I didn't realize that. Thank you, MT. The 4ME that I have has two super sources, but I didn't realize that the Constellation 2ME also does. That's great. That's a good tip. It's really handy to have two, actually, because then you can have two different layouts ready to go. The Constellation sounds like a beast for the price. It is. The other big difference is there is no recording and no streaming. So you lose those if you go to Constellations. You have to build those. You have to buy additional parts for that. So that adds to the cost. It's really good value for the price, but then you have to buy a streaming encoder and a recorder. So no ISO recording, for example. Yeah, Philip is saying that no ISO recording on the Constellation, no recording at all on the Constellation. So you have to grab a Hyperdeck for recording, grab a web presenter for streaming. So now you've added at least $1,000 on top of that. But yeah, if those inputs and outputs are super, super useful. Oh, speaking of, I almost forgot. Let's see, I still have my phone shared. Last week, I was at a conference for work, and I ran into somebody from who I met at NAB, who also has a YouTube channel. He was running the show. He was running the AV for the conference. So that was hilarious. I'm trying to remember his new channel name. He just started a new channel. Did I write it down? Yes. Oops. Let me grab his channel. Yeah, it's Brandon from Live Production Mastery. And I don't think... I asked him about his setup, but I don't think he is going to do a video about the conference because it wasn't like that complicated. But the one thing that I did think was interesting that he did... do I have a picture of the room? Yeah. So the room was set up for this big wide room, 3 screens, but there are these walls that come down and divide it into 3 separate rooms. So for the like keynotes and intro and like ending, they had it all opened up like this, so you could sit anywhere, and then everything you'd see the same thing on all the screens. But then they would bring the walls down during the next break, and then they would have 3 separate tracks going. So if you imagine there's 3 separate tracks going, you need 3 totally separate video mixers. They were streaming each track, recording each track. So the way that they had that set up, let's see if I can find a picture of one of the rooms by itself. So this is what it would look like once they had split the room into 3. This is one of the 3. And then, you know, this is like what you normally expect of like single, you know, 1 or 2 cameras for the presenter and the slides getting mixed into the stream. And then the back of the room, I did grab a picture of at least one of them. In the back of the room, they had roughly this 3 times. So this was, they all had a Constellation 2ME, a little monitor, a laptop, Stream Deck, and then one camera was usually like on the table here, and then another. I wish I got better pictures. I had this thought as I was snapping these pictures, but this one's a little better. So yeah, this is when it's in the wide mode, but same idea. So they have basically the same setup roughly 3 times, so that they could film 3 separate film and stream 3 separate things. And then here's the trick. So when in split in 3-room mode, they're all 3 separate, totally isolated things. When they go into the wide room mode, they wanted to be able to treat it as all one system. So they can grab feeds from any of the 6 cameras. If something each has 2 cameras, grab feeds from any of the 6 cameras and show them, you know, wherever. So what they did was they ran cables in 2 directions to connect the 2 satellite ones with the middle one. So if you imagine 2 SDI cables in and out, in and out from the center constellation to the 2 satellite rooms, then they could use the remote satellite, the extension constellations for switching between the 2 local cameras fed into the main one, and they could send the slides from the main one out to the 2 satellite ones, which were running the screens. Pretty clever solution. I think it worked out great. It worked really well. They were a great crew, so it was fun to run into them there. I wish I had a better. I should have done a diagram of that, but yeah. The A to Z. Oh yeah, his other channel was A to Z Productions, but he's moved over to this new channel now. So he is at Live Production Mastery now. And go subscribe there because he needs more subscribers there. Like this review says, saw questions on the Hyperdeck Studio HD Plus. It does 4K up to 30. It also has downscaled 1080p SDI out. See, now this is why I'm confused, because I thought it had a downscaled 1080p SDI monitoring, but mine does not seem to be downscaling. So I need to figure out if there's a setting for that or something. Yes, consider budgeting for a web presenter because there is no encoder in the Constellation. Web presenter or something else. Actually, one of the benefits, frankly, of going with the Constellation is that you don't have to use the Blackmagic encoder, which has trouble with bad network connections. So they managed to do just fine on the hotel network connection. They were using 3 web presenters, 1 for each room, and they had 25 up and down to each for each connection, and it worked fine. They didn't have any trouble with buffering, but not every hotel is that well set up for network. So the ATEM or the web presenter will have trouble with bad network connections, but some other encoders might not have trouble. So that's actually kind of a benefit. Stop and Think says, what is the easiest editing system for beginners recording on the ATEM Mini Extreme? Nothing really unique about the ATEM Mini Extreme, but I do think Resolve is pretty fast to learn, but Also, Final Cut's pretty easy to learn. I personally like Resolve a lot better. I did use Final Cut for a while. I think Final Cut might be a little bit easier, but really, they're all fine. They're all good. With the Cat6 converters, it's often HDMI resync issues. Sometimes plugging and unplugging the HDMI on the receiver end helps. Good tip. Yeah. Those extenders are mostly rated for a certain length of Cat cable. Also, Cat 5 versus Cat 6 versus Cat 8 or whatever. So double check all the specs of the converter that you got. Make sure you're using cables that match the specs and it's not too long. Cameron says, on the ATEM use cases, StreamYard and vMix offers SuperSource and recording options. So a user could look at those options and use an ATEM or other device for camera inputs. Yeah, if you don't mind recording, not in the ATEM. Absolutely. You can use the ATEM for, I think it's a great option to use the ATEM just for camera switching locally so that you're sending only one feed to those things, because trying to get multiple video feeds into a computer can bog down a computer pretty quick. So offloading that to hardware makes a ton of sense. And then just having the one feed that gets sent up to StreamYard or vMix. StreamYard for the camera and then SlideShare or something into StreamYard works. Randy says, do you have a forum or Facebook group recommendation to learn more about live streaming? I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. Sorry. No. Was not able to join sooner. No companion upgrade yet, I suppose. I just imported my companion config into version 3, and it looks like it came through. Oh, it looks like that setting didn't import. Let's get rid of those. I don't like those. Those are ugly. And it looks like it's like here. It looks like it's working too. So like, switch back to, yeah. So the buttons here work. So did anything blow up? Did anything blow up? Web presenter. I don't see any exclamation marks. I could try to, my main concern was like, if I import this, if I just upgrade companion, is it gonna, like, is everything gonna fall apart? Let's see, do my triggers still work? That was for the automated stream. Okay. Oh, this looks nicer. That's good. Let's look at some like complicated buttons, like the pre-roll. Looks like it all came in. Okay. So should I upgrade my actual companion? I have an export of this now, so I can always downgrade and roll back if I really needed to, but I also have a version running on my Mac that I could use to control the stream if everything falls apart on the Raspberry Pi. Maybe. Let's do that in like 10 minutes. The Logician says, I bought a Decimator MDHX to invert the image going to my second monitor, which acts as a 24-inch teleprompter. Whoa, that's a huge teleprompter. That's great. The Decimators are super, super handy. Art in the Game says, what would be your recommendation for a monitor to work with the ATEM Mini ISO, like your video on the CTEC you published, trying to be as cost-effective as possible? Yeah, the CTEC monitor is interesting because it has the 4 inputs with pass-through outs, and it does multi-view. So you can avoid needing to, I mean, the ATEM Mini Pro ISO has multi-view in it, but what that would let you do is let you see the 4 and then use the HDMI out to record if you wanted to. But if you don't need the monitor to do multi-view, because you can use the HDMI out of the ATEM to do multi-view, which is how most people use it, then there's a ton of monitor options that are all good. There's a I don't even remember the brand name. I have these little like panel ones that are pretty good. Here's one. I have a few of these ones. Let me grab this link. One of the, yeah, this one has USB and HDMI. Let's make sure that one has HDMI. So here's a little portable monitor. And here is the other one that I like is this LILLIPUT A11. Where is it? A11. So they're two totally different kind of monitors, but I really like the A11. The nice thing about this one, it's not cheap. Oh, this one has SDI. There's a cheaper one that has only HDMI. The nice thing about this one is that it does support image flip inside the monitor. So you can use it for a teleprompter without adding extra hardware for it, which is really nice. I've never attached the battery plate to mine. I just left it off. It has loop through, which is good. The other one that I posted earlier is this style. Oh wow, that's a good price. But it has HDMI Mini, not micro or full, which is a little bit annoying. But there's no loop through, so this is going to eat up the port. So it's a good screen though. I like it. It's a good size. I think it's a great option for using it as a multi-view. Getting a recommendation here for a C-Force monitor with a full-size HDMI. That's helpful. That's good. Didn't know about that one. Oh, a latched button is now a stepped button and needs reconfiguration. The variable naming convention is slightly different. Ooh, okay. I think that may not cause me any problems. I'm trying to remember. I think this one is latched. Yes. Okay. So now it's step 1 and step 2, but it looks like it came through okay. Interesting. Why do I have that and that? Oh, this is for the monitor multi-viewer program. I don't really use this button anymore. I should get rid of it. Oh yeah, it just changes my screen in front of me. It changes this screen from multi-view to program, which I never do. Interesting. But let's see if it works on this companion. Yeah, it's working fine. That's cool. So I didn't have to reconfigure it, and it just imported fine. So maybe they added some migration code. Feedback for a step button is different. Maybe that's what got lost. Let's compare the feedback. So this one, that's in the new one. Here's the old one. Let's go to that page. And, oh, I didn't have feedback in it anyway. So latch toggle, and now it's just step 1, step 2. Okay. Oh, it doesn't do the little yellow built-in feedback anymore. That's good, because I actually didn't like that. It looks like I may not have actually been using much of the features that got changed, so that might be a quicker upgrade than, yeah. Bigger issue is conversion of companion 2 is changing your buttons to take advantage of the conditional logic and multi-flow options, and triggers are more powerful. I don't think I had anything that complicated in mine, so I may be off the hook for dealing with complicated migrations. Yeah. Let's see if my PTZ came through. This is my experiment with creating a controller for the OBSBot camera, which is really cool that it works. Let me what did I do? I need my super source. Oh, wrong one. SuperSource 2 to be that camera, and no, I want it to be my computer and the 16. So if I show you this, I can now move this camera by pressing the buttons, and I made it so that the release does the stop pan. So as long as you're holding the button, it pans. And same with zoom. You can also change the speed here so I can go slower. But this is the OBSBot Tail Air running their beta firmware with PTZ in it, which is very cool. And now I have a little remote control camera that I can control from Companion. And it looks like this is working fine in version 3, which is also great. Good news. Good news. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. Let me see what else I can get to before I YOLO upgrade my Companion in place on the Raspberry Pi and then end the stream in chaos. Von Mayman knows this. Says, on YoloBox in-stream, I bought network bonding for it, but it doesn't show up in the in-stream. It's compatible. I don't think they added bonding to the in-stream, if I remember correctly. They added it to the Mini and the Pro, but I don't remember ever seeing it mentioned in the in-stream. If it supports it, it would be in this list. So yeah, I don't think it does. Sorry. It might come to it in the future because they did roll it out to the Mini after they put it in the Pro. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is coming in an update. MT says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. News fan says, looking for a new hardware encoder to replace an old Teradek video. What would you recommend? Oh, I have one. I have a really old one of those too. Probably if you're looking for something similar to that, probably a Magewell device, because it's similar, like just a box. It'll be good quality. You can also, of course, replace it with a YoloBox or an ATEM, but that's going to do a lot more stuff that you probably don't need if you were only using it as an encoder. The Magewell makes good encoders. I'll probably take a look there. In-stream bonding in version 1.6.6. Oh, well, there we go. They already added it in a firmware update. Okay, fantastic. See, they're good at that. They are very good at that. It'd be great to get your feedback on other YouTubers' production setups. I've never heard of Brian Tyler Cohen. It looks like a one-man show. Have you ever considered that? I have not considered that, but that sounds like a great idea. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm happy to do that. If you are watching and you would like me to do this, get in touch. My email is in the YouTube profile section. Or if you know of somebody who you would like me to go and talk to, feel free to put me in touch with them. I think it sounds like fun. Okay, let me look for one of my offline videos from my flight was live production mastery. Oh, good. Let me look through the last bit of comments before I go and update Companion. I use a portable Asus 15-inch with the Hyperdeck Shuttle HD. Noel says I have 2 monitors like that from my ATEM Mini Extreme. Philip says the thin HDMI monitors also fit in the tablet clips for the PK1. Oh, a good point. Right, because that's made for an iPad, and those are about iPad thickness. That's a good tip. Mark says, I'm going to start multicam streaming of amateur sporting events. How important is SDI? It seems like wireless video transmitters and HDMI would work with less setup and cost. HDMI is not going to give you long distances, so you're probably going to need something beyond an HDMI cable pretty quick if you want anything beyond just like cameras that are right next to you. SDI is great for longer distances. However, yes, it is expensive and has a lot more setup. Wireless HDMI is great, and a lot of them are really good now, and certainly a lot easier and more portable. If you are in super crowded places with a lot of cell phones or Wi-Fi, then though you might get interference with the wireless one. That's the downside. So if you want like to guarantee that your video feed's going to come through and not get broken, then do get the wired SDI cables. But I do think you can go a very long way with wireless HDMI these days. And if it's just like, you know, like a amateur sporting event, which I'm assuming means not inside of a stadium, then it's probably not going to be too much RF interference. So wireless HDMI would be a great option. They're not cheap. Like, plan on spending, what do they cost these days? The Holy Land wireless HDMI. Axoon makes good ones too. 900 for the Cosmos C1. That's SDI also, which is kind of handy, but $429 for the 300 Pro. I have not used the 4K one. So spend between 400 and 900. The other one is the Axoon. These are good too. They have a couple different models. But yeah, roughly the same price, it looks like. So a bit of an investment, but they're good. They're definitely good. We need a no time limit stream. On the Insta360 system, up to date. Huh. I haven't turned mine on a little bit, so I'll have to dig into that. Sorry. My output from the ATEM SDI Extreme ISO is 1080p 30 and going to SDI to HDMI converter. However, I've been unable to find a monitor that supports 30 any solution. There are only a few that do. A lot of them like to lock into 60 frames per second for some reason. This is a tricky one. So the ATEM Mini models with HDMI out will negotiate the frame rate, and they will work with a 60 frames per second monitor, even if your ATEM is set to 30, which is nice. However, I think if you're talking about the SDI one, yeah, it's going to be just SDI 30 frames per second. It might be a trick to find a monitor that supports that. I'm pretty sure the LILLIPUT A11 does. The one I linked below does. But the consumer ones tend to not support 30-minute or 30 hertz frame rates for some reason. So that LILLIPUT A11 should work. There's also a Dell monitor that does, which is not the one I have over there. So I have to put a decimator behind it. That's the other solution, is get a frame rate converter. Decimator is a good frame rate converter and scaler, but it's $300, which is silly to spend $300 to fix a $100 monitor. So just get a better monitor. With the YoloBox Ultra coming out with in-stream capabilities, do you think that we may eventually add it to the YoloBox Pro and Mini in a firmware update? I doubt Mini, just because I doubt it. The way they did it is better than I was expecting it to be, where it boots up into like this launcher screen where you choose either YoloBox mode or in-stream mode. And because of that, I think that the CPU in the Pro is good enough to do that. What I was worried about was the CPU not being good enough to do like multiple things at a time. But the way they did it was it basically just goes into one mode or the other. So it's possible, and they do ship a lot of firmware updates for this kind of stuff, but I know they've said a lot in the past that they are not planning on doing it. However, that was before the Ultra. So I wouldn't hold my breath, but it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. Somebody had a question earlier that I saw. Gwen says, I noticed Mint Mobile on your phone. Curious if you use it as a bonding source with HD Stream since their service limits video streaming to 480. That doesn't sound right. I mean, there's no way to actually limit video streams to a specific resolution for like by cell phone providers. What they do is they try to detect if the data coming down is a video stream, and then they drop your available bandwidth so that the app renegotiates a stream at a lower bandwidth. So if you're watching YouTube and the phone's like, oh, I'm having trouble with this 1080 feed, the YouTube app will then switch and request the 480 video. So because this is all encrypted, the phone company can't actually see the data that you're streaming, but they can look at packet patterns to try to detect, does this look like a video stream, even though they can't see what's inside the video stream. It's very sneaky. It's very tricky. So I will say, I have not had any trouble streaming 1080, even 4K over my cell phone connection, and I've had no trouble with fast downloads, over like tethered downloads. I think what you're talking about is they mention in the unlimited one. Oh, there it is. I saw it. Unlimited. Yeah. So if you're on the unlimited plan, then if you also go over 40 gigs in a month, then they throttle you. And they say videos will stream at 480p, which basically means they throttle your bandwidth, so the apps request a 480p stream. But up to 40 gigs, it's full speed. So, and 40 gigs is a lot. I have this plan though, so I get 20 gigs of full speed, and that's it. And the other nice thing is that it's tethered as well, so you can tether at the full speed for 20 gigs. So yeah. It is sneaky language. It is tricky. I used to do no time limit streams. Maybe I'll do some more of those over the holidays again. That was kind of fun. And now that I live here, I don't have to worry about how late I stay or how early I get up. I actually did stream. I woke up at like 4:30 today, and then I did a 2-hour live stream on this channel for members where we worked on measuring all the parts for the Chaos router and making an actual panel layout for it. So one step closer to getting that working now. So I've already been streaming for 2 hours on top of the hour and a half right now. Yeah. 40 gigs is laughable, but that's the US. Unlimited at $750. I have not been able to use 40 gigs, so I have no problem with it. But yes, the US cell phone market is quite different than Europe. And Blanco says, for amateur sports, I use a mix of HDMI and for long distance SDI converted to HDMI. Makes sense. Is it possible to use USB as an overlay in YoloBox Pro? I've connected my computer for graphics, but I only get keying to work with picture-in-picture, and there's only 2 picture-in-picture, but 3 HDMI camera. The USB as an overlay. Connected to wait, but now I'm confused. The USB from the YoloBox, your computer won't be able to send video to that. The YoloBox should show up as USB webcam in the computer, and you can plug in a USB webcam into the YoloBox, but I don't think there's any way to get OBS to provide a webcam to the YoloBox. I don't think so. And yeah, the keying is the way that the YoloBox does it. It's called picture-in-picture mode. You can make it so that the picture-in-picture is full screen, but I will say that the YoloBox doesn't really support keyed out graphics very well from an external source. So it does, like, you can do it, but it's not, I always feel weird about it. So that's just my thoughts on that. Can you make OBS provide a webcam out over USB? That doesn't sound right to me. I attached a Magewell dongle with HDMI in and it worked. I want it on no matter what camera I choose. Yeah, that's the problem with the way that it works in the YoloBox, is that it's only in picture. It's only picture in picture. So if you have to set it up as like an angle, so you can. It's meant for picture in picture, where you want your top down shot with like a close up camera in the corner or face cam in the corner, and then you cut to that as an angle. But in order to use it for graphics, if you want the graphics on every angle, you have to set up each one as a picture-in-picture, and then you run out of picture-in-picture things on the YoloBox. But that's what I mean, is it's not really made for that. So I think you're just it's an uphill battle. I would probably go the other way around at that point. If you do want to use OBS for graphics, then you're probably better off with an ATEM Mini going into OBS for ATEM Mini for camera switching, add graphics in OBS, and stream from OBS. Crazy Caleb says, good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good morning. Late morning here, but technically still morning. Thanks for joining. We're just about done though. So what I want to do is break everything by upgrading my companion live. So let's see if we can do this. Let's get into my companion. That one. And let's see. Where am I right now? I'm at December 2022, version 2.4.1. I should be able to upgrade this the way I normally do, which is I'm going to run the bleeding edge. Maybe I should check out a stable one. Let's pull this down. This is my Raspberry Pi that's running the show. 3.1.1 they said was stable, so let's check that out. Okay. And now how do I do it? I forget. Oh my god, I always forget the stupid node commands. Let's go to the GitHub and figure this out. There is I think it's on their wiki. Manual install. Updating. Oh, they made a command for it. Oh, does this work? I thought that was only if it's, no, that's if it's on their companion Pi. Where is it? Oh my god, I totally forget. It's some sort of who remembers the Pi command line for GitHub? It's this one. Run the companion headless script. No, that's to start it. Require dependencies. They don't have the update. I've done this before. Maybe it's just npm install. That usually works. That'll do something. Unsupported engine. Oh no, I have to upgrade node. Oh boy. Fully expect for the box to implode shortly. Yes. I have to upgrade node. So I have 14, but I need node 18. So how do I do that? How do I install node? Let's see. Did I install it from source? This is why people install Companion Pi, because then they don't have to deal with this nonsense. I don't remember if I installed it from, I think I did it this way. So I need to update that. Install node JS on Raspberry Pi. What is the what is the current version of Node? 18. I don't want to download it. I want to do the... Oh my God. Here we go. This one. I think it's this one. Supported versions. Okay, what was the current version of Node? 18. Good enough. Let's try this. Nope. I need to do this. Okay. See, this is why you should not install Companion this way. Oh, I didn't import the... Why did it... Oh boy. Let's try it. Nope. I might have to do this keychain thing. This is fun. I knew it was going to be a rabbit hole. Let's do that and then run that one. Now let's see if it works. Okay, there we go. Do I get to install Node 18? There it's good. There it goes. I hate Node. I agree. Oh, Ryan's here. Hello, hello. You're just in time for Aaron upgrading Companion to Companion 3. Yeah, chaos is about to ensue. But hey, it's going. In the meantime, I can have some more of this not sponsored energy drink. Okay, Node. Now it's 18. I should probably stop Companion first. Yeah, so the Stream Decks are locked up. Now I can't switch camera angles. npm install. Let's see if this works now. Hey, okay. I'm in the wrong folder. There we go. Now, npm, please use yarn. Oh, good Lord. Maybe I need to log back in. Sometimes that fixes it. Yarn install. Aha! I think this is working. I forgot it was not npm. It's yarn. There's a different command, yarn command for it. Everything looks different now, but in the exact same way. Yes, exactly. And now my hide chat button doesn't work over there. Hopefully that's not concerning. The platform Linux is incompatible with this module. Doesn't look good. Riveting content. Why did my keyboard just reconnect? That's interesting. Well, it's installing 13,000 packages. Thanks, Node. What can we do? Well, I do have my backup companion. I can always run from the computer. But hey, things are going, so I'm not going to give up hope yet. Probably the right thing to do was to grab a new SD card, install Companion Pi on that SD card, and then just move the config over. But, uh-oh, that doesn't look good. Node modules, UTF-8 failed. This is not going well. That didn't work at all. Uh-oh. Do I need to upgrade the rest of the system? Sometimes that helps. I should probably just install Companion Pi. Doing it live. Well, what's the fastest way? I think I have an SD card handy. Should we do both of these in parallel? Why not? Let's get Companion Pi, Raspberry Pi image with Companion pre-installed, stable. Okay. How are you doing? And then, while that's downloading, I'm going to grab an SD card. Bit of a waste to use a 16 gig SD card on this, but seems to be my only option. I don't even think I can buy an 8 gig SD card anymore, come to think of it. Got an A1 class. And let's do Imager. This is probably going to be faster than updating my OS. I do have a backup of my companion feed. I actually have a working backup of it on my Mac, but I do have the file on my Mac as well. Custom image. Oh, it's still downloading. Come on. Who's going to finish first? Okay, the download finished, but it's not an image file yet. So let's unzip it. In the meantime, the OS update is very slow. There we go. Should probably delete that. Save some room. Ooh, my disk space. My poor disk space. Use a custom image. Choose not my hard drive. Choose the 16 gig and write. Let's go. Okay, who's going to finish first? The Raspberry Pi Imager or the OS update? Hmm. 10%, 10%. 1111. OS update takes a small lead. I was going to say I should put some music on, but my companion isn't working. Let's go over to my backup companion. Find my music page. Sound effects is page 5. Sounds. Nope, that wasn't the right one. Somewhere in here I have music. There we go. Is this coming through? Yeah. Okay. I can hear it too. I got a mix set up for my speakers. Okay, how are we doing? 29%? 17. Ooh, Raspberry Pi takes the lead. Have you thought about putting a title or subtitle on this video that explains what you're doing for folks that join late asking for a friend? Yes. Good idea. It's a little bit late for that, I think. Ooh, maybe I can do one on an iPad. Why is there music? Oh, because this is playing it too. I can use Live App for this. Let's do this really quick. I should be able to draw. Backup companion. But what I can do is, are we connected? I don't need it. I don't need it automatically done. Okay. Oops, why did the ATEM software control quit? That's interesting. I'm going to use the downstream key to key over my iPad. And then I can draw on it. Let's see if this works. Not pre-multiplied. Oops. There we go. So I am installing Companion Pi. And let's go back to SuperSource. And now we can hide the chat. And let's see how these are doing. The music sounds so companion too. Can't wait to hear the new 3 sounds. Too many connections to the ATEM? Possibly. Possibly something. Or sometimes when a new thing connects, it'll like send status updates of, like, for example, multi-viewer. And that can cause messages to get sent to everything, and then sometimes if they're not expecting it, they can crash. I've had that happen before. Maybe that's what happened here. How are we doing? I think Companion Pi is going to finish first. %, first 34%. Unless the last 1% takes a lot longer, I think I know which one's gonna finish first. Yeah, 5 connections is the limit for the ATEM. Oh, now we have to verify. Oh no. Okay. Maybe red was not the best color to use for that pen. I'll draw the next one in white. Waiting for companion Pi to install. ... Here we go. Here we go. Don't forget to let the Pi cool down before you bite into it. It's a good tip. It probably is actually really hot doing all this work. Finalizing. Okay, we're done. Now, that means forget this OS update. We're just gonna stop it. Can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. I may have broken everything. The problem is I need to shut this Pi off. But if I pull the card out right now, it might actually break it. And then I'm really stuck. I guess I pretty much messed it up already because I upgraded Node and now I don't have npm install working. So I guess we just yank the cord. Okay. So oh, I keep reaching over to the Stream Deck to push the buttons. I'm definitely not overwriting this card, but I will definitely use it for something else. So I will be reformatting that card if I pull it. Yes. I think we're just going to do it anyway. Ooh, do I have a power for the Pi on here? I do. Let's do that. Poof. Did that reboot it? Nope. All right. What am I going to put on the screen? Swapping Pi SD card. Don't try this at home. Yes, agreed. Let's go give you the room camera. Where is the Pi? There it is. Ugh. Really stuck in there. Here goes. Okay. Ah. Hope I don't regret that. I'm going to play this next song called Feeling Lucky. Blowing up your live stream infrastructure on purpose. Okay. This song is called Feeling Lucky. So let's see. That shell session is dead, but it should come back with the same IP address. Yeah, because it makes sense. Let's get rid of that one. Because it's got a new host key. Okay, there we go. Get rid of that. Oh, jeez. I wonder what the default password is. Oh, what am I doing now? Setting up companion Pi. So what do we think the default password is for companion Pi? The default Pi user you will need to set up a password to be able. Oh no. Oh, I have to go and put the card into a computer. That is what I have to do. Shoot. Let's see if it lets me with no password. Nope. Yeah, they changed it. Yeah, they changed it, and now you have to set up a password in the imager, but because I didn't use the imager, I have to go and make this file in the boot partition. Username, encrypted password, which means I need the you don't need to log in. That is an interesting point. That is a good point. Let's just visit the IP address here and see what happens. True, I don't need to log in. Okay. That's fair. So let's just import the config and see what happens. Import. That was the export I did earlier. And connections. Is it going? Initializing. Ah! It crashed. Syncing. Connections. There they are. Except the Constellation is crashed. Oh no! Did the ATEM software control crash again? No. That's not good. What's going on with Constellation? Of course, that's the one that's not working. Let's give it a break. Try it again. Initializing, disconnected. Of course. Connection to ATEM crashing after reboot. Maybe I should have looked at this first. Oh no. If I add another to the same switch one, this one comes up after a stable reboot. It seems one of my existing buttons or actions or macros or triggers is responsible for this module crash. Oh no. The frustrating thing is that I literally just, oh, I pushed some changes to the beta. Oh boy. The thing is, I imported it to my Mac and it's fine over here. Not ATEM TV Studio, Constellation. It's somewhere in here. Yeah, it's fine here. So why is it crashing on the Pi? Gosh. Oh, this is nice. A little debug for this connection. But it's not showing me anything. There it goes. Well, that's not helpful. Timeout. Reconnect. Let's disconnect. Start connection. I'm worried if I delete and re-add the device that it's going to lose all my buttons associations. But let's stop that. Now I can't remember if I name it the same one. Can I? Let's just make a new one. Target IP. Oh, it's not even finding it. That's interesting. It's a 4ME HD. Can it even connect? It connected. I've been scared to upgrade. Maybe it's time. Only if you do it in a live stream. Yes. So a new connection worked fine. So yeah, it's like that issue you said. There's something about something in my config that it doesn't like. Okay, let's get rid of the top bar. Let's plug the Stream Deck back in. Okay, it found it. So it's working, but I'm not connected to the Constellation. Have I tried turning it off and on again? If you use the same instance name, it'll be fine. I don't know if that is true. It's annoying that I can't configure this if it's not on. Because I would like to change the name here instead of just deleting it. Ugh. The question is, which button is it? That is the question. How do we find out? Because if I add it back with this with the same name, it's going to have the same problem. All the triggers I had turned off because I only had the ones for the show automation. So it's not a trigger. It could be something in the feedback. Let's see, what buttons do I have that could be causing a problem? Feedback. Those are all simple. I knew this wasn't going to be straightforward. I knew it. I have so many buttons. These are just, they're all so simple though. That's the thing, is that none of these are like super complicated. These are like aux routing things with feedback. Oh man. So let's just reboot the Pi. How about that? How do I do that? Settings. How do I restart Companion from the interface? I always do it from the command line, but I can't log in because I don't have a password. So that's not helpful. Everything was cleanly imported except for the most important piece. It's true. Oh God. Oh God. It was so close. It imported fine on the Mac. So why not? Okay, I need to reboot this thing. I guess I can do my I can do this one. This should reboot it. Let's try that. One other thing I noticed is that the Pi does not have enough power to boot with 2 Stream Decks plugged in. That worked. Something turned off. It was the Pi. Okay. It doesn't have enough power to boot with 2 Stream Decks plugged in, but if I plug in the second Stream Deck after it turns on, then it's fine. Okay, it's coming. Come on. Next week, how to change your tires on your bike while riding it down the street. Okay, the buttons came up on the Stream Deck. Does the web page load? Yes. Are we connected? Okay. Here we go. Ah, same thing. Oh my gosh. Crashed. What is crashing? Call timed out. What would that be? One thing I've noticed is when it first connects, it does try to it'll try to push all the media into the device. And I wonder if that's giving it trouble too, because these things are big. What happens if you disconnect the Mac instance? I can do that. I hate to do it because I'm really not able to touch my show, but let's do that. Okay. Constellation is here somewhere. There it is. So that's turned off. Now, still same problem. Let's delete the media from, let's delete my animations. That's my current theory. Let's start over, give us a little break. Try this without the media. No, same thing. Oh, no, so close. Same problem, okay. What next? Next, I could reboot the whole ATEM, but that sounds like an adventure. Oh, and now I made new macros in the ATEM earlier, so I need to save those. Should I reboot the whole thing? Is the upgrade of the original Pi still an option? Probably not, given that I just shut the power off mid-OS upgrade, but we could try. Sorry for all the people who are asking actual questions now. I am now in full-on chaos mode. Reboot the ATEM. Okay, here we go. This is going to knock me to a black screen for a bit because the web presenter is connected to the ATEM. If I turn off the ATEM does not send anything to the web presenter. The web presenter will still happily continue to stream the black void, so the stream won't go down, but you are not going to see anything or hear anything while this happens. Let's save startup state. Let's just, for the sake of being thorough, let's export this. Before you reboot the ATEM, I think you should try deleting and adding in the connection to the ATEM on the Pi. I guess I can't mess things up too much more than they already are, but I suspect it's gonna be the same problem. So let's delete this, and then let's add a new connection called ATEM, and then we're going to call it Constellation and hope that it means all my buttons transfer over. I'm a little bit confused about why it's not getting discovered. but I should be able to add it manually. Not at 2ME, 4ME. Here we go. Let's find out. Connecting. It connected. But do my buttons work? Did it transfer over? Well, hey, it's reading the variables. Constellation. Oh, but the actions are all gone because I deleted the device. Ah. Can I import only the buttons, but not the connections? All the connections will be imported. I don't want to. If you wish to do a more selective import, check the other tabs. Oh, can I do this? Ah, here we go. Okay. Link import connections with existing connections. It may have just matched everything up. Oh, but I can only import one page at a time? Oh, good Lord. Let's go to my main page. If this works, it works. Source page, destination page. Import to page 9. Page was imported. Does this work? Aha. The buttons work again. Why do I have it on a 0 address? Because I have weird subnets here. Because I can do whatever I want. It's my network. Okay. I guess I just have to import each page. That's going to take a while. That one doesn't have any ATEM buttons on it. Neither does that one. Neither does that one. This one does. Oh, that's different ATEM, I think. Yeah. ATEM SDI. This one has some Constellation buttons. So what what happens if I just do a full import again? What happens? Let's just do the whole thing again. Reset and import. Don't need your quick start. Are you able to connect? Okay, did something. Nope, same thing. That's so interesting. Oh, so actually, it might be because there's something on one of the pages that's broken. And that means if we keep doing this page by page, we'll find out the page that has the bad code. So let's do this. Constellation. Connect, please. Okay. Now, import from the backup. Go here, go to page 2, import. Go to page 3, and we're just going to do this until it crashes. Page 4. That's not the same ATEM. There's nothing there. 6, 7, 8. Page 8 has a bunch. Page 8. Great. That is set to Constellation. Yeah. Okay. Page 9. This is my main page. And these buttons work. Yep. Great. Page 10. Import. How do I know if it's crashed? I guess I should see the variables disappear. Page 11. I think there's some on that button, on that page. Page 12. Yeah, so far so good. Page 13. I really need to get rid of those little labels on the top. I don't like the top bar. Okay. Page 14. Super Source Box 1. I think those are no, those are ATEM Mini. I need to redo these pages. I have these pages for setting SuperSource, the contents of SuperSource boxes, but they were for the ATEM Mini Extreme, which I haven't used here quite a while. Okay. That one might have some actions in there for the ATEM. This one, I think, yeah, Constellation, buttons. So far, it looks like it hasn't crashed. Bunch of Constellation buttons. Open a second instance of Companion, open to the connections page to see if it crashes. That's a good idea. I should probably do this. Let's keep this like on the screen down here so we can keep an eye on it. And then I'll make this. Where's the corner? There we go. Now we can keep an eye on it to see if it crashes. Okay, 21. Did I already do 21? 22. 23. Some of these pages are redundant, I am now realizing. Monitors. That's a good page. That's how I have quick access to what to show on the teleprompter, like the status or my computer screen. Oh, I can't push the button here. Okay, 26. Oh, that was a fun one. That was 2 years ago Halloween when I dressed up my studio as other studios. This one I don't think has any Constellation actions, but I'll do it just in case. Hyperdeck inputs. Yep. $29 is empty. 30 is shortcuts to drop stuff into chat. There's a page full of hyperdecks. No Constellation buttons. Here we go. Here's my Constellation SuperSource selector. Still connected. SuperSource 2. Yeah. SuperSource. Oh, apparently I never got past that. Constellation HD ME1. What is that? Oh, this is just what's on ME1. Okay, I don't ever use this page. ME2. I guess I see why I did this. Constellation Audio. This is more like my backup. And I haven't actually done a Constellation Audio in a long time. I should probably get rid of that page because I moved audio into the mixer. This is just showing what goes into the Pearl Nano. What's that? Zoom in slow. Oh, that was for a video. 44. A lot of empty pages here. Network decoders, 48. That one I think does have Constellation actions. 49. 50. Patch panel outputs definitely has. Oh, I forgot labels for these apparently. I have 3 outputs on the patch panel, so I can quickly choose what goes out to those for the other when I plug in. Wow, I haven't used that page in a long time. That was for the Kimaki M show. 60. ATEM outputs. This is definitely Constellation actions. No crash. This chooses what goes out to the ATEM Mini SDI. Oh, so many buttons. Still no crash. Still no crash. What goes to the teleprompter? 66. Still no crash. Side monitor. These are not complicated buttons, that's the thing. Rolling monitor. Another teleprompter page, interesting. I feel like I have 2 teleprompter pages. What goes to the Hyperdeck Mini? What goes to the Hyperdeck Plus? Okay, what goes to that monitor? Yeah, empty page. Is that it? Oh, 84 is, what is this page for? Looks like for recording. Oh, that's an ATEM Mini Extreme. So I haven't used that page in a while. Okay. 76, 87, 88, 89, 90. I think that's it. Okay. So I have no explanation for what happened because I imported all the pages and I have not crashed it. I didn't have any active triggers anyway. But the good news is that it is now imported and working. So good, I guess. We're back. Are we done? I don't ever have to go back to now do it all over again, but with your eyes closed and only using your feet. Accurate. So far, so good. Okay. Stop and start the Constellation. Do some button testing. Yeah, hide chat works. That button works. These are working. Does my PTZ camera still work? Oh, my up and down are swapped. That setting didn't get imported. Flip counting direction. Now I like down going. I guess I see why now that I say it out loud. On my Stream Deck, I like when I push the down arrow to go to the next higher up number paged. So pressing up to increase the number seems backwards to me. But now that I say it out loud, I see why they did it that way. Anyway, I like pressing down to go up in pages. Doesn't sound good when I say it out loud. Oh well. PTZ camera is working. So I can still pan and zoom around. Great. Can see my wall calendar. Oh, that zoom is getting pretty rough. That's pretty good though. And it's a cool little op spot. PTZ. So far, so good. Reboot the Pi to make sure everything still works. Yeah, probably a good idea, but I don't see a reboot button in Companion, which seems weird to me. Like I would have assumed that there's a button here to reboot it, because I can't SSH in until I set a password on it, which I can't do until I grab the card out again. Oh well. What's this? Recorder. Huh. The good news is you'll need to do this entire process each time you use it. I don't know what the upgrade story is for Companion Pi. Stop and start the Constellation module anyhow. Oh, that's a good idea. That's easier to do. Okay, let's do that. Let's export everything here. No, cancel. Let's export this. Just so I have a new export, and then let's go to the connection and stop and start this. Come on. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. Are you serious? Oh. Why? Why would you do this? This is gonna take forever to troubleshoot. Because now if it is that problem of something on one of the pages is causing this, I basically have to import a page, disable and re-enable, and see if it comes back up. So I have to do that. I have to go ATEM Constellation or ME. Okay. And then I have to make a new window for this. Shrunk down. And then import. I guess I can import the new one. Buttons. Let's start with the main page just to see. No, let's start with an easy one. Start with this one. There's only 2 buttons on that. So what I need to do is import that page and then start and stop this and see if it comes back. Nope. Huh. So that's bad. Delete that. Let's do this again. Let's just see if I can turn it on once with nothing configured. I'm not even going to rename it. I'm just going to call it ATEM. So it's got nothing to do with the existing stuff. Turn it off. Turn it on. Nope. Wow. Oh, wait. Okay. That's good. That's progress. This is something. So as soon as I just imported the simplest page. This page has the only buttons on that page are it uses a variable and it had a press action. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, well, let's step one. Let's not do too many things at once. Let's rename this to Constellation. All that should do is, where'd the save button go? All that should do, let's rename that. All it should do is make the variables here show up. Okay, they do. Now, can I turn this off and can I turn it back on? Nope. So does that mean it has something to do with reading the variables? Wait, yes, no, crashed. Okay, let's go. Let's change this. It's annoying that you can't change configs while it's off. Delete that. Let's do this again. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add it, not called Constellation. And we're going to make a button. And we're going to see if I can just turn it on with a button. Okay, we're going to go to this page because I have almost nothing here. Presets. Let's just grab one of their buttons. So I have to reload that. Presets. Where is... Oh, it's just called ATEM now, right? And we're going to grab program 1. It found the variable names. Let's drag that button there. And let's drag SuperSource 1. Okay. The buttons work. I actually wanted that camera. Now, can I turn this off and back on? Let's find out. Because this is just stock stuff. Nope, I can't. That means it's not my problem. Wait, did it come back? It crashes, then it comes back. So it is my problem. Oh no. So if I can create a new button, and if no actions are crashing it, but variables are crashing it, so I do reference a lot of Constellation variables. Oh my God, like all this stuff is all over the place. I also don't understand why that would crash it. I give up. And it is weird how it works fine on the Mac. I agree. There was no problems with the Mac version. So super cool. Super great. This is exactly what I was worried about. And now I've totally messed up my companion. How do I can try to reboot with this card. Run back to 2.4 and pretend this is all nightmare. As long as my OS update didn't mess it up. And I could try to reinstall Node 16, because for some reason installing Node 18 broke Node. Check the variable list. Okay. What does this one say? ATEM short 2. Short 1. Yeah, that's the same. So what that means is that there's some... But that's weird that this page crashed it. Buy another Mac. Problem solved. I do have an opportunity to optimize my new Companion 3 setup. That is true. I could go back. I could recreate the pages that I actually care about and abandon the rest. I kind of hate that option, but I could do it. I don't like this. Yeah, rebuilding it might be faster than troubleshooting it at this point. It is true. Are you sure it's the same version on your Mac and Pi? I'm pretty sure I downloaded the stable version on both. 311-6229. And on my Mac, it's, yeah, exactly the same. That's so annoying. The problem is that I have all these nice colors. It took me a long time to do for the buttons. I'm gonna have to. Okay, let's see if it's even an option to do this. What I'm gonna do is, sure, we'll call it ATEM. Can I modify this button to add an action? Or can I even just do this? Does this work? If this crashes it, I'm gonna be really confused. So let's try this. Okay. Oh. Wait. It said crashed. It's good. Crashed. What? Why? All I did was use the new name on a new button. Wait, did it stop crashing? So it went through like 5 crashes. And then figured itself out. Yeah, maybe, Philip, you're right. Maybe we should reboot the Constellation in case the ATEM is confused. The situation I would like to be in is restore from scratch and everything works. So let's do that. I don't know, Darren, and I don't know if this is going to make any difference because I just imported the same file to the Mac and to the Pi, so there shouldn't be any differences in the Mac version. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the import page. We're going to import the original backup, the whole thing. Before I do this, I'm going to restart the ATEM. Because if I restart the ATEM, then when I reset this, maybe everything will be cleaned up. Let's try it. So I am going to restart the ATEM. I thankfully have it on a power switch. And this is going to take the stream down. You will see a black image for a couple of seconds while the ATEM reboots. And it should hopefully reboot or come back to this screen. I'm going to again save startup state so the ATEM comes back. I will have to reload my animations, but I already deleted them anyway, so it's fine. Here we go. Hold on to your hats. Are we back? Interesting. Something is wrong. Something is suspicious. Why don't I have a multi-view? Huh. It didn't save the settings. Let me restore the ATEM from the backup, because it did not actually restore everything right. Double audio. Something is very wrong. Just restore this. That looks better. My ATEM Extreme always swaps multi-view and program around between the HDMI outputs on reboot. That's weird. Okay, how is the audio doing? Check. Hello? That sounds better. Okay. Now this looks right. For some reason, it just sent program feed out to every output. I don't understand why. Okay. Anyway, different problem. Let's go back to this problem, which is full import. Reset and import. Here we go. This feels like the scene from Apollo 13 when they had to turn everything back on in a certain sequence. Yes. Yes, it does. Okay. Welcome to Companion. Do we have a connection to the Constellation? There it is. Come on. Disconnected is not necessarily crashed. Unknown is not good. Nope, we're stuck. we're stuck in a bad place. Running out of options. Give it 5 times, yeah. Could. That did work last time, apparently. Did you notice on the second ME, the last button in the first row was missing? Oh, that's interesting. What? Why? I mean, it doesn't, ME2 doesn't have an ME2 button, which makes sense, but you're right. I thought it had some button there before. This is still crash looping, so I don't think this is working. This is terrible, terrible news. Is it beta time? That's another way to go. But how do I upgrade? Because do I have to grab the SD card and flash a new image? How do people upgrade Companion Pi? This is why you run the Git version, because I can just do Git pull. Companion Pi upgrade. Oh, you're supposed to do that. Some older images are unable to be updated to recent versions of Companion. Said you should write a new image. Okay. Older than 2.2, but that was not what I had. So I have to be able to SSH into it, which means I need a password, which means I need to grab the SD card. Is it the stinger button that's missing? So, okay, I have to grab the SD card out, set a password on it, and then I can... It's incredibly frustrating. Okay, Raspberry Pi. Yoink. I guess I should put my little... Yeah, I did try the Raspberry password, but that stopped working ages ago in an old distro. Okay, we are going to setting password on the Pi. So I should be able to turn that one on. It works on the Mac still, so yeah, lovely, lovely. Here. Try this again. I have to get this to work at some point. So how does this work? Volumes. No. Boot. Yeah, okay. And there was like a... Don't care about that. This one. This is good educational content. I hope it's helpful to someone, because now we're just lost. Okay, so I have to run this shell command to set a password. I'm going to do that not on the screen so that you can't see my password. Not that anybody can log into my Pi anyway. I don't have a... I guess it's time to do a 1Password. Login for Companion Pi. Just make a random password in my password manager. Okay. And great. It doesn't work on Mac. I have to run this on Linux, apparently. Nope, unknown option 6. Good job. Good job, Raspberry Pi news. Oh, OpenSSL on a Pi. Do I have another Pi that's running? Yes, I do. My VPN Pi. No. Yes. Aha! Okay. OpenSSL on a Pi has the right command. So let's get rid of that from the screen. Then we are going to now I can go back to my screen. Okay. So I did this with a password. Now I need to put it in a file called userconf.txt. So volumes boot userconf.txt, and I can paste in the encrypted password. And now I can reboot the Pi. Okay. And turn on the Pi. And then we wait for it to come up. Look around. Can you form some sort of rudimentary lathe? Yes, that is what it feels like. I think we should take a coffee break and meet back in 20 minutes. Hopefully this thing boots up soon. SSH may not work till a valid user has been set up. Okay. That's something. Now, let me paste in the password without showing you on the screen. Oh, come on. Really? It is Pi, right? It didn't work. Oh, because I did not read the instructions. That's why. The file was supposed to be username : encrypted password. One more time. Copy paste Pi : Okay. Come on. Come on. What node version do you have on the Mac? That is a good question. Actually, no, I don't know because I just installed the package version of Companion, so I don't have any node installed, so it's whatever Companion ships. So it's, I have no idea. I don't even know how to find out. Okay, let's wait for the Pi to boot. Oh, I need to enter the password without showing you the password. Ha! Okay. I have SSH access. Reading the instructions seems like a good idea in general. Also, don't read the instructions so fast that you miss some of the instructions. Okay, password is set. I'm into the Pi. What was the point of this? Updating Pi. This is hilarious to see it's happen to somebody other than me. I mean, that's what we're here for. Although I do need to really finish this up so I can go run some wires in the house. Okay, the command I was supposed to run was this sudo companion update. This is not going well. This is still crashing. Okay, companion update. Let's see what happens. Is it doing something? Aha, you get to choose latest beta. Great. I should put something on the screen again. What am I doing? Updating to latest companion beta. Emerald says, in the meanwhile, I'm going to download a piece of beta firmware for the Magewell Director Mini and see if the DJI Osmo Action 4 works with it afterwards. Cool, I would love to know. Oh yeah, I saw a question from i360 Media, YoloBox Pro versus Magewell Director Mini for portable live streams. I haven't yet actually got a chance to play with the Director Mini. I'm hopefully getting one soon on loan. I'll have it for like a month or so. I am very optimistic about it, but it does work quite differently than the YoloBox. So I think there will be some reasons that you might, that both might still be a good option. Okay, companion update is complete. Now what? Is it running? It's starting. Remember, this is a beta version. 3.2.0. Okay. Can we connect? Hey. Did that work? Was it a bug in Stable Companion? Don't show the top bar. Flip counting. And, oh my God, all my buttons work. Is this really happening? This looks quite different. Why do they keep changing things? Sometimes it's fine the way it is. You don't need to redo everything every single time you make an update. But hey, you know what? I think it's working. So I'll take it. Oh my God. Re-import fully. Didn't I just do that? I thought the last thing I did was a new import. Clean slate import, and everything was broken again. This is all because I chose the stable version. That is true. If I had chosen the beta version, I would have been done with this project an hour ago, and we would have had no chaos. So you're welcome. That's terrible. It's so terrible. Weird that the stable version works fine on the Mac, but not on the Raspberry Pi. Weird that whatever bug it was fixed. So cool. Very, very cool. Good job, people. I like the look of the handwritten signpost headings. It is cool. I should keep this around more often so I can draw on my screen. Are the wires you're installing in the house even compatible with Companion 3? Director Mini. The phone stream feature is amazing. DJI Osmo Action 4. Currently black picture. Insta360 Cam's frozen image. Ooh. Okay. So hopefully beta will fix that. Export backup config. Shortest path is Companion Pi and latest beta. Connection to the ATEM crashing after reboot. Companion Pi version 3.1 latest beta. Wait, did you read that somewhere? Should I have just read that first? If in doubt, blame Node.js. I agree. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're done. Chaos Companion to go with the Chaos router. Yeah, I'm really excited about the Chaos router, though. I should show you the... Why is my iPad not charging? Since I don't have a it's on my other computer, but I can show the mock-up. That is the panel with the parts measured to the correct size. So I measured all the openings and holes for the cutout. The red lines are going to be cut throughs of the panel. The blue is just blocking to know how big either the top or the bottom part is, so I don't make them run into each other. And then the text will be burned into the, like, just etched into the wood. So the reds are going to be cut all the way through the wood, little circles. So that's all actually laid out now in the right spot to the exact sizes, and I should be able to stick a piece of wood in a laser cutter, cut out all these holes, and then mount everything. So yeah, cross your fingers. And then I need to buy the little corner blocks of wood for those little 4 squares in the corner, cut those with a table saw, and then I can make, I'm going to mount it at an angle, so it'll be like a little wedge on the desk. So it'll be like that. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be cool. That was my morning project. It's in GitHub. Not sure if it was the same problem. Well, at least it was fixed. Thank you for the super chat, Eric. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to wrap this up. Whew. That was a long one. Thanks for sticking with it, most of you. And thank you for the troubleshooting help. With that, let's wrap this up. Run the credits. Thanks to everybody for joining. This was a long stream today. I hope I should add timestamps so people don't have to watch me struggle through all that troubleshooting if they watch the replay. Because oh my gosh. But at least we got it working. My credit button works. Ooh, I just remembered. I need to import the animations to my end screen. Can I do it before the credits finish? Can I do it before the credits finish? I don't know if I can. That one goes there. That one goes there. It's going. It's going. It's uploading. I can't switch anything to opinions, freaking out because getting all the media report messages back. But hey, thanks everyone. Thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for the super chats. We will see you back again next time. Same time, same place next week, I think. I think so. think we're on our regular schedule. And with that, let's see if my end screen works. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.